What stopped you from committing suicide? Lithium. As a last-ditch effort by my psychiatrist to save me, they put me on a super dangerous drug that basically jump-started my brain. I went from a plan to commit suicide with a date, note, and everything, to feeling like I had never been sad in my life in less than a week. I was on it for 2 weeks, which was long enough to adjust my other medications and therapy so that I could get back on track. That was 1.5 years ago, this month. Without it, I wouldn't be here today. Not wanting to die yet. The fact that I disappoint my children didn't stop me from putting a belt around my neck 3x in the last 6 months, but couldn't follow through because of my kids. Nah, still want to. Too much of a coward. My dog and Radiohead. My mom doesn't need to see me dead. Being dead may be good just for me, but not for the few I have in my life. Plus it's super selfish to think only about myself, to end it all without doing anything for my mom who looked after me. I must pay her back. So I carry on for her if not for myself. Failing. Strangely, a random girl I had met maybe once or twice through a friend. She had been interested in me, but Jay was going through a tough time and didn't save her number. I had deleted all messages off my phone, that way when I was found there was nothing on my phone. I wasn't using my phone and completely cut myself off from everything and everyone. I locked myself up in my apartment for weeks. I had deleted the contact of my ex, who was a catalyst for my emotional turmoil. I messaged what I thought was her, but I messaged the wrong number. She said I'll be there in 10 minutes. I instantly knew it wasn't my ex, as we were now thousands of miles apart. I asked who this was, and she said Lisa, and I'm on my way over. I told her not to come and I texted the wrong number and just leave me alone. She showed up and banged on my apartment door till I answered. She came in and sat with me through the night. Left in the morning. I never saw her again, likely out of embarrassment. The fact that basically a stranger rushed over, talked with me, cared about me, didn't try to turn it into a sexual advance, and just really listened, helped my brain make that turn it needed to find my emotional footing. Had I not texted the wrong person, or had she listened and just turned around, I would be dead. I was ready. I had a plan. Thanks, Lisa. I'm now expecting my first child, and I'm very happy. Not dying. I was 13 years old when I attempted to hang when I looked over and saw my 3-year-old brother playing, and right before I was about to put the rope around my neck he looked at me and said, "Look, it's my favorite brother," and then I fell to my knees and started to cry. That is when I decided there is a reason to live, and I continue to want to live because of that moment right there. The understanding that this life is my entire chance at existence and the possibility for a better experience in the future. There's a book series that I'm in love with. It's called The Beginning After the End. It's so exciting and so good, I keep wanting to spend all week waiting just to read the latest chapter release. 7 days for 15 minutes of reading. That's what I do it for right now. My dog growing up. He would always sit with me when I was sad and show me extra love. He had a way of knowing when I was having a depressive episode. I miss him terribly, but I believe he hung on so long because he knew I needed him, and left when I was able to take it. Rip Champion, heart. My best friend. He has mental issues of his own, but we would sit, either together or on a call, and just talk openly about everything we had going on. Truly kindred spirits. I moved out of state, but we still call each other a few times a week. One Piece. I can't allow myself to die without watching the end. Knife was very dull. I read once that a dude called the suicide hotline and no one picked up, and he found it so absurd he couldn't stop laughing. My boyfriend called the cops and I got put in a 7-day psychiatric hospital. Now I'm on meds that work, so no more suicidal tendencies. A number of reasons, but mostly not ever wanting to commit suicide. My sisters. The day before I was gonna do it, they both vented to me and thanked me for always being there for them and for listening when they just wanted someone to listen and giving them advice when needed. Broke my heart. That's why I decided to stay. If not, it would have been 6 years that I would have been gone. Lack of resources. Seeing my GF do it, did it for me. It's been years. The trauma I went through after really changed my whole life. Depression was severe. My pain was enough, why let others feel it the way she did it to me? I'm still suffering to this day but found ways to cope without the use of alcohol or hard drugs. I have never had the urge to commit suicide. The thought of my dog never understanding where I went. Forever. She's been my best friend for 12 years so far. I fear for my mental health after she crossed Lamau. Hope. Poor quality rope. I thought about what it would do to my mom and dad. And when I took to regularly slicing my arms and legs up just to feel something, I knew something was terribly wrong and I should talk to someone. Much better now, though. I was afraid my cat would eat my face and genitals before anyone found me or that he would starve. Weird, but true. This is going to sound strange, but I got a cat. If I die, the clingy little furball wouldn't get food or water and would die, too. It didn't work. Skeptical. My dog. I have a, now, 16-year-old fox terrier who has severe anxiety and we are definitely each other's person. I knew she would be confused and stressed without me, so I stayed because I knew she wouldn't understand. Books. Being able to escape to another world when reality was too much to bear provided the outlet I needed to face life another day. Still helps now, but luckily not on the brink as much anymore. My dog. She was the most important thing in my life and I didn't know what would happen to her when I was gone because she was older. She's gone now but I'm doing better and have another dog and hopefully if I ever go down that hole again he'll be there in the same way. Medication. I'd like to say it was a number of things, some through my own effort, but ultimately my illness got so bad I couldn't suffer it anymore. I painstakingly waited the month my therapist suggested to see if it would kick in as a last chance, and though it was only a little relief at first, it was enough. If someone ever tells you they rely on medication and you disagree, please keep it to yourself. Pain is relative, and meds can literally save lives. Being a pussy, and my son and nieces and nephews. It's been too hard living, but I'm afraid to die. My son. I know that if I go, it drastically changes his life for the worse. That's stopped me when I was at my lowest. Much better now. My uncle called. Out of the blue. Hadn't seen, spoken in so many years. Not knowing what happens next. What if it gets harder? A combination of hope that I'd eventually escape my childhood hell and the fear that if the afterlife was real I'd definitely be going to hell, so why not just stay for a while longer and see what happens. I was raised Christian, so it's hard to shake those teachings out when it's getting psychologically tortured into you. About 4 years later I met the love of my life who really helped me through my troubles and see life in a new light. He supported me more than anyone had in my entire life and I would honestly give up the world for him. Living. My best friend stopped the bleeding. You mean bettering my life? Pure spite. My father. No parent should ever outlive their child, and the thought of him being emotionally destroyed stopped me multiple times. He recently passed in May, and I'm having a really hard time dealing with it. I miss him terribly. This coming Saturday would have been his 69th birthday, the first one that I won't be able to hug him, say I love you, and thank him. My 45th birthday is next Wednesday. It's going to hurt, not hearing him say I love you, son. It has been a bit more than a decade since having thoughts of suicide. But, I'm a little bit afraid that the next time I go into that dark place, I won't be able to come out of it. Almost dying on accident. Still don't know what to do with my life, but at least I'm still here. Wasn't from suicide either that I almost died. Not being able to figure out how to be certain that my soul wouldn't find my body. I eventually got annoyed at the problem, sealed my suicide method, and went back to living. The realization when I was in Times Square that my life was worth living, I had traveled from Australia. Fear. My children. They were 11 and 13 at the time. They're in their late 30s now. And I'm fine. My life is good. I don't know if I was ever gonna actually do it, but the book Reasons to Stay Alive by Matt Haig really sent me in a good direction when I was in a very dark place. I'm my mom's only child. She's a fantastic mother, and raised me by herself after my dad passed. She was my rock. She's told me before that her life would be over if mine ever ended before hers. She was the reason I made it through. And I have her now, and my husband as well. My husband texted me saying that my dog was wondering where I was. It took several years to finally justify that nobody would miss or need me. I couldn't reason with myself anymore. But then I remembered, dogs don't forget their owners. They can get depressed when the owners die. And I believed that. They aren't as complex as people. Anyway, nobody would clean her eye boogers every morning or make sure to feed her a specific brand of duck and lamb, else she has a tummy ache. She's an annoying Bichon who is incredibly high maintenance. I couldn't do that to her.